After 3 points on the road last weekend, the Reds are back on Merseyside. Arne Slot has had a little taste of Anfield already, but that was for a friendly. This afternoon he gets to experience this place for real. Today he faces his first competitive match in this famous old stadium. It is Liverpool versus Brentford in the Premier League. Kick-off here is at 4:30. Yeah, welcome along. Plenty to come over the course of the next 90 minutes as we build up to fixture number 2 of the new campaign. We'll be hearing from the boss, his opposite number Thomas Frank, Alison Becker, Ryan Gravenberch, some famous fans, and these two gentlemen, Messrs Gillespie and Mellor. Gentlemen, good to have you with us once again. Gary, how did you find the first home game of the season? Was it ever daunting, nervy, or was it always just something to relish?
No, I think it's always something to look forward to. I think the contrast is in a week's difference in the weather, isn't it? We were standing here a week ago, brilliant sunshine, and this is more like typical of Anfield in the northwest. No, I think it's always a special occasion. I think more so maybe for the fans than the players. I think you build up for like all that pre-season. I think some of them have been back about 8 weeks now, so it's a long time to be back. And you're chapping at a bit to really get going, especially here at Anfield. Again, it's a fantastic surface, a fantastic stadium to play in. With the new stand fully open now, I think the corporate hospitality is open today. So it's a wonderful occasion and something certainly to be cherished as a Liverpool player.
I think when the fixtures come out, you want to be at home first game of the season. It wasn't to be for Liverpool in terms of having to play Ipswich away. A great result. And it takes us into our first home game here at Anfield in the Premier League, having got a decent result. And the fans will certainly build on that excitement that we saw last weekend in terms of a good start. And the atmosphere at Anfield, it makes a difference. It can make such a big difference in so many games, and hopefully again we'll see that this season.
Well, I think I heard a start this morning, two losses and 61 appearances here at Anfield. It just shows you, we were talking about when Jurgen Klopp came, talking about making it a fortress. Well, we certainly have made it a fortress with only 2 defeats in 61 games here at Anfield.
Game 1 was at Ipswich, though. A game of 2 halves, Neil. 3 shots in the first half, 15 in the second half. Yeah. What did you make of match 1 under the new manager?
Enjoyed the second half, yeah, no doubt about that. I thought we were much better in terms of attacking quality. We created a lot of good chances. I thought, in all fairness, the scoreline actually flattered Ipswich. I think if it had been a little bit more clinical, ruthless, it could have been 4-5 on the day. But good to see us creating so many chances. I think Ipswich, we expected to have a real good go in that first half, whether it was a mixture of them tiring, maybe a mixture of us having a little bit more quality in that second half, certainly going forward, maybe a little bit more space to utilise from the hard work Ipswich had initially in that first half. But yeah, it was good to see, and always good to see strikers scoring. Jota getting off the mark, and Mo Salah as well in that first game.
It's funny though, isn't it? You look at Arne Slot and you think a technical coach, very much like working on the training ground. And the reference he made in his speech afterwards, we didn't win enough challenges in that first 45 minutes. Something that you would not really expect a coach or a manager to say. And that was exactly it. We were a little bit weak. Ipswich were certainly buoyed by the occasion. I think that gave them a little bit extra. And we found it difficult in the first 45 minutes, but class told in the end, and it was a comfortable victory.
It was ultimately. OK, enough of Gary and Neil for the moment. We can hear from another former Red now. Let's find out who. With Peter McDowell, who's now over in the main stand.
This is the hottest ticket in town, this particular lounge. It's been brilliant walking around and seeing the look on fans' faces again. It's the one consistent in your life, isn't it, your football team? Whatever else is going on, to be back here at Anfield for the start of a brand new season has been really special, and this is one of the best lounges in all of Anfield, and aptly named because look who I found in the corner here. Vladimir Smaita. Great to see you, hiding as always. Great to see you, and great to be back at Anfield again, isn't it, for the start of a new regime?
Yeah, new regime, new era, a new manager, new season. So very exciting, be back at Anfield for me. Fantastic experience every time, and I'm back, and I had a great welcome from the fans. I couldn't make it to the Legends Lounge, Neil. No, I'm joking, but it's nice always be back at Anfield.
You've been through this before yourself. You went from Gerard Houllier to Rafa Benitez. So is this fascinating for you as well as a former player to see the way these ideas will fold out at Anfield today?
Of course, when you change a manager, it's a big change for the dressing room. For the players, every player wants to impress a new manager. Of course, you know him a little bit, he knows you a little bit, but then every day on the training ground, you know each other more and more. So So that's, I think, what's happened now at the moment, and so far I can see only the positive things, you know. So I just hope it's going to be a great debut for Arne Slot and for the team at home today, and then we will have a good season, I believe, in that.
How did you find that? Because they were two very different personalities, weren't they, Gerrard and Rafa? Their messages would have been different, but you know, sometimes personality can be the most important thing for players.
Yes, of course. You know, Gerrard, at the end of his managing role, he's been a little bit tired. He had his heart operation, and his energy was a little bit dropping down. So when Rafa came with the new assistant coaches, with Paco and everyone, suddenly the training session, they were longer. They were like 2 hours, and everything was new. So, yeah, for the players, I think it's good to change. You know, it's good to change. It gives you some new motivation, new energy, and some players that they were probably not favored with Jurgen. Suddenly it's opened up the door for them to impress the new manager. So, you know, not every time it changes for bad. I think sometimes it's for good, you know. So I believe, you know, it was done like this. Jurgen decided, but now we got Arne Slot here, and I hope he will be doing well for us.
What do you want to see more from Liverpool this year? And almost as what does, you know, success represent? What do you think is a realistic point? Can Liverpool go for the title again right till the final day?
I hope so. I hope so. Liverpool is about winning the trophies. I know in our time, for example, we were quite far away from it, but every time before, at the start of the season, we had this dream, we had this target to go for it. You know, not Liverpool is about winning the trophies, and I think, I believe we got a really good squad, big squad, you know, and some young players showed last year that they can do it, and we got some like long service players that they are still in the great shape, great form. So I can't see the reason why not be fighting for the first place, be up there definitely. You know, that's the pressure. What is all about Liverpool, and this pressure is always on the players, on the managers, and they would like to have success.
At this corner that Vladdy sat in, by the way, later on, once the game has finished, this is where all the boys, all the former players congregate together. They'll go through the match. Some will have a little drink, some won't. But the camaraderie that you all have, whether you played in the early noughties, whether these lads played in the 60s, you all consider yourself still a team, don't you? Yes,
it's. I'm always very happy to see here the old faces, you know, the ex players, and or even like much older than I am, and I'm getting quite old. But you know, these guys are. It's always fun, always good to see them here. Last time I saw Bruce Grobbelaar filming. So these legends are, you know, special for this club. So it's always great for me to say them hi and spend few minutes with them, talk to them, and see their opinion of the season on some players. So it's a fantastic opportunity for me to sometimes be here.
You mentioned age, and I didn't really want to bring it up, but 25 years next summer since Istanbul. It just seems to have gone like that.
20, not 25.
25 years, 20, 25, 20 years.
20 years, 20 years is going to be. Yeah, I can't believe it's already 20 years. I can't believe. But I feel still good.
Still look well.
I still feel good, and I know it's 20 years. I just hope we will reunite a little bit. We will see each other. Maybe we may do something probably, and because it's been a miracle of Istanbul, and but we still play some type of Legends game, you know, together. So I'm still in good contact with most of the players from Istanbul.
It's great to see you without a golf club in your hand for once. Vladdy back at Anfield again. Appreciate your time, mate. It's great to see you.
Thank you.
It's back to you, pitch side in the rain.
Dear, nearing 20 years, that does make me feel old. OK, from a former player to the current head coach now. Arne Slot says he's looking forward to taking charge of the Reds in a competitive Anfield fixture for the very first time.
Going to be the first taste because we played Sevilla already, but it's clear that it's the first league game at Anfield, and looking forward to it, but I'm looking forward to every game. I've played in the past as a manager, and also to this one. Yeah.
It's going to be a big crowd, probably twice as big as the one you played in front of last Saturday. How do you manage the nerves? Are you a nervous manager?
I hope they are twice as loud as the Ipswich crowd, because the Ipswich crowd was really, really, really loud. So I'm hoping the fans can be twice as loud then as the Ipswich ones. That would be a big help for us. But no, I'm not nervous at all. Certainly not at this moment, because I'm in the middle of preparation, prepare the team for Sunday, and actually, no, nerves are not there. No.
Not even at 4:25 on Sunday?
No, it wouldn't be a good thing. If you've got nerves, then probably you don't trust what you did before. You just don't trust your team. And I trust what we as a staff do during the whole week to prepare the team in the best possible way. And I trust the team a lot as well, again on Sunday.
There was such a difference in terms of the first half performance versus the second half performance. How do you feel you are getting on in terms of being able to explain to the players what it is you want from them, and then buying into that?
I think we're on a good track, if that's the way to say it. So, but we have to understand that some of them are only here for 3 weeks, and there's quite a large part of our group is with us for 3 weeks. So, and it's not only about us; it's also about the opponent, what they bring into the game. And I think I said it before that Ipswich put a lot of energy in the first half to make it really difficult for us, and or we stepped up, or Ipswich were not able to keep bringing the same energy in the second half, and I think it was a bit of both, and we got a bit more space, and then you can see how well these boys can play. But there's still a lot of work to do, but it was a good first step, especially the second half.
When you look at the quality of the bench that you've got, it must be great to see those options that you have. But in making sure that you are not afraid to make substitutions, are you partly learning more about the squad that you have, but also trying to create some competition?
Oh, I'm learning every day still about these players, about the individuals, and also how they cooperate with each other. So, for me, the last week was not only important on Saturday, the Sunday was also really important, because I learned and saw there that the ones that didn't play on Saturday were able to bring a really good training session in on Sunday. And I think that is that's a really important thing for a team as well, because we all know that we're going to need many of them during the season for a lot of game minutes. And they brought in a really good training session on Sunday. And that will help them and us for the rest of the season. And yes, I am still learning new things about the players, which is normal, because like I just said, with some of them I only work for 3 weeks, so still seeing new things from them.
How has Jarell Quansah reacted since being taken off at half-time against Ipswich?
In a way you would expect a player to react. So I spoke to him immediately after the game. Spoke to him the day after on Sunday, and in the end of that conversation he asked if he could train Sunday. So normally he should have done recovery, he wanted to train. And unfortunately, I think it was Tuesday that he picked up a bit of an injury, so he couldn't train on Wednesday. But he reacted in a way every player should react. But I don't think there was that much into it, although maybe the language was a problem, because what I said was he did not lose every duel, but he lost 1 or 2 important ones, and one of them was just before half-time. And from what's been told to me, it's like that I've said that he lost every duel, which he didn't. He did not do. We as a team lost too many duels, and he lost 1 or 2 as well. And this is also what I said to the team the day after. That it was not about Jarell, that we as a team didn't do well. But in my opinion, the only threat at that moment from Ipswich was Gillespie, and he won 1 or 2 important duels. And I was trying to get that strength out of their team by bringing in Ibu.
Yeah, the manager finished there chatting about the centre-back situation. As expected, Jarell Quansah not able to start today. He drops to the bench. That is the only alteration to the starting lineup from the side that began down at Portman Road on the opening weekend. Quansah is, though, fit enough to take a place in the bench as he is replaced by Ibu Konate in the starting lineup. It's Alisson Becker in goal, then Virgil van Dijk, Ibu Konate, Luis Diaz. Diaz making his 100th appearance for Liverpool today. He has 24 goals in his previous 99 outings. It's Dominic Szoboszlai, Alexis McAllister, Mohamed Salah, Diogo Jota, Andy Robertson, Ryan Gravenberch and Trent Alexander-Arnold. On the bench, Kelleher, Gomez, Endo, Nunez, Gakpo, Elliott, Tsimikas, Kwanzaa and Bradley. That's the team then. Only the one change, the change we probably expected. What do you make, Gary, as a former centre-half, about a defender being subbed halfway through a game? It's not always the done thing. Right, wrong, understandable?
All of them, to be quite honest with you, I think understandable. He was kind of having a hard time against the centre forward. He was losing a lot of these battles, and that's probably really where a lot of the problems came from Liverpool. Not just him, in fairness. I think all around the pitch we were second best in the challenges that we were making. But it's a key area of the pitch. I think if you can dominate your centre forward or you dominate the opposition's front players, I think it gives you a good bedrock to a good foundation to start your play. I think it just emphasises the fact that we've got quality centre-backs in the likes of Konate and the likes of Kwanzaa and the likes of Virgil van Dijk. Kwanzaa will come again without any shadow of a doubt. He's got too much quality to not. But in fairness, the manager's job is to get the best out of the team. It's not about getting the best out of individuals to a certain degree. Obviously, if you get the best out of individuals, it obviously helps the team. But it's not all about individuals. It's about the collective. And that was probably what he saw the best change for the benefit of the squad and the team.
Yeah, the manager's going to have to make some big calls. The players aren't going to like it at times, and obviously, unfortunately for Jarell Kwanzaa, he was the one who had to make way at half-time. But it's about the reactions. It's about the reaction of the players in the second half. They went out second half and did a professional job to get the 3 points, and in the end, a comfortable victory. And then you're looking at the reactions of Jarell Kwanzaa. Disappointed to have been brought off. The manager's told us he's come in Sunday morning, he's asked him to train, so you're saying, okay, straight away he's thinking, right, what have we got to do to stay in the team or get back into the starting line? So really encouraging to see that the attitude's there from Jarell Kwanzaa, as disappointed as he would have been, and he would have been absolutely fuming. No player wants to be taken off at half-time. Great to see that reaction. Disappointed he's picked up a knock, hope it's not too serious. A lot of games this season. He will be needed.
He's still a young man. He's still learning the game, and trust me, as a centre back, there's a lot of downs as opposed to a lot of ups.
But that was the point I was going to make. For him, the trajectory he's had since this time last year, near enough, when he got his first appearance up at Newcastle in strange and trying circumstances, he's only really had one bump on the road. That was the misplaced pass at Old Trafford. Everything else has been up, up, up. There are going to be days like last weekend that he's going to have to adjust to and get over.
Well, Neil makes a really good point. It's how he adjusts and how he takes it and how he comes back from that. And I think the manager will be watching him closely. And I think all these young kids that come through the academy, I think they've been coached and nurtured in the right manner. I don't see a problem with Jarell Kwanzaa. I think he'll come back stronger, fitter, and he'll understand the fact that if he comes up against a centre forward like he came up against Ipswich again, which he will, he could easily have done that again today. The forwards that Brentford have got are very aggressive. So I think it's a case of you've got to dominate that centre forward, and hopefully he learns from that decision. And that's how it works in football. You've got to learn from your mistakes.
Real test for Gary now for the remainder of the show. His notes blow across Anfield. We'll get them in a second. I just wonder, how did you deal with being sub, Neil? Any particular ones that stand out? Were you I wasn't happy?
I think it's more common for the attacking players to be subbed. I think it is more unusual. If your centre halves getting brought off, if your goalkeeper's getting brought off, you're thinking, okay, I've not been quite at it. From an attacker's point of view, quite understandable. You know there's going to be players who maybe are required to try and change things in the final third, and that's why maybe we needed to improve going forward, and yet the manager made the change at the back to say, okay, we weren't winning our duels, not just there but in other areas, and maybe the message, I'll bring you off if you're not quite at it, was certainly reacted from the players in the second half. But no surprises with that team news. When we saw the team news, we thought maybe Konate would be the one to come in. No Curtis Jones on the bench. That certainly caught my eye there. I thought between him and Harvey Elliott had really good pre-seasons. They would have been disappointed not to have been involved last weekend. Cody Gakpo, I think he's a player who'll play maybe more football this season. Again, he might be a little bit disappointed not to be involved. They'll all get game time this year, but it's good to have so many to pick from for the manager at this moment, so no surprises with the team news really.
We're still sort of adjusting to the new manager's approach, his style, the way he deals with certain games, how he sets his team up. One of the notable things so far in the early days is where Ryan Gravenberch has operated, sitting as the deepest of the three midfielders. What do you think we get by having him there, Gary, and why do you think the manager has put him there?
Good question, because if you had asked me at the beginning of the season or the beginning of the pre-season, would you played Ryan Gravenberch as a holding midfield player, you'd probably suggest no, you wouldn't. But the games that I've seen so far, he's done exceptionally well. We're still early on in the season. I think it's finding a place for him in the team. I think we've seen like last season, could we fit him into the team in a forward position, maybe a more attacking position? And it kind of worked now and again, but it wasn't on a regular basis. He looks happier in that defensive role. I think what I like about him, he gets on the half turn, he lets the ball run through his body, and then he's at like the opposition's back four. If he's not at the opposition's back four, he's at their midfield and he's running at them, and that creates an awful lot more space for the forward players, the likes of Jota, the likes of Salah. And I think his distribution's been good as well. All round, like the 2 games that we've seen him really playing in that position, he's been excellent. Arguably man of the match against Ipswich, his distribution and his ability to run at people. So if that continues, then Liverpool maybe, I wouldn't say stumbled on like a position for Ryan Gravenberch, but like certainly cemented a position in the starting 11.
Gary, I think his mobility is something something that really stands out. The running capacity he has, dribbling with the ball going forward, but to run back. There's a couple of incidents when Ipswich tried to break against us, certainly in the first half, and he was sprinting back to make sure we weren't outnumbered on the counter-attack, and I feel as though it gives Liverpool a little bit more legs in that sort of area of the pitch. There's no doubt on the ball, he's comfortable in possession of the ball, he's happy to receive it in tight areas, and he's going to be given it in tight areas, and at times it might be a little bit dangerous, a little bit risky, but he wants the ball and he's so comfortable in possession of the ball. He was outstanding last week, he really was, but he's only played a couple of games pre-season. That one against Ipswich. There will be bigger tests if teams have a 10. You know, I'm thinking of obviously City and Arsenal, you know, teams like that. I'm not sure Brentford will have that player to really press high. I think their midfield 3 might be a little bit deeper rather than push too high and put him under pressure.
Of course, today is the manager's first competitive game here, Gary. He says he won't be nervous. He was very sort of business-like when he was asked, "No, I'll be setting the team, I'm coaching the team." But deep down inside, will there be a little bit of apprehension or nervous excitement? Because, you know, there's an expectation here.
I think any time you're involved in a game here, whether it's a player or whether it's a manager, I mean, I can only really speak from a player's point of view. You do get a little tingle. You do become a little bit nervous and a little bit excited. I mean, it'd be daft to say not. I mean, like what we've got here, 60,000 like fans, and maybe a little bit less when I was playing, but it's still you're a little bit nervous. But he looks a cool kind of chap, doesn't he? He looks kind of chilled out. I think it's the Dutch way, really, to be quite honest with you, isn't it? Like they are quite a chilled race, and he's done all his preparation. And that, as a manager or as a coach, I think that's all you can ask for. Like if you do all your preparation to the build-up to the games, then it's down to the players to perform on match day. And more often than not, Liverpool, especially here at Anfield, have done that.
Okay. Well, we were just discussing him a moment ago. We can now hear from Ryan Gravenberch. He's hoping Liverpool can build on that positive beginning to the season down at Ipswich.
I think when you start with a 2-0 win, then you got the 3 points, and that's what we wanted. So we are very happy with it. I think in the second half we put more energy in it, and also with the deep runs and just the ball in possession, and yeah. Like obviously we put more energy in it, and that was the change for us. So yeah, a little bit different system that we played last season, but I have to focus on the 6 and 8 position. So, and now I play on the 6, and yeah, in the past I played it as well. So I know what I have to do. So yeah, I've enjoyed playing that. So I think everyone has adapted to it, and now we have to build it further. And I think at the end we will be a really dominant team.
Obviously we move on to Anfield at the weekend. The first home game is always really special, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Especially, hopefully the weather is also good on Sunday. But to see the fans again, and I'm really looking forward to it. Brentford, there's a good team. They have a good team. And in the Prem there are no easy games. So we know it will be tough, but we give everything, and hopefully we can get the win.
Yeah, let's hope it is 3 points this afternoon. Just over an hour to go until kick-off here at Anfield, when we will bring you live audio commentary of all the action. A new season, a new manager, but the same old famous voice on the microphone. Mr. Corner taken quickly himself, Steve Hunter, is up on the gantry for us now. Steve.
Well, what can I say? Thank you, my friend. Mark Benstead is my agent, isn't he? Let's face it. Great to be back with you once again, folks, at Anfield, isn't it? There's a lot of media interest on this one here today, by the way. It's packed. The 2 rows here on the back of the 6th floor main stand gantry is absolutely packed with media crews, commentators from all over the world, all eager, of course, to see our head coach Arne Slot in his first Premier League game as a Liverpool manager. We've got Danish television in front of us. The great Dane Jan Molby, I think, is going to be here. Always great to see one of our legendary midfielders. What a pass master he was, by the way. He can still play, by the way. Doesn't have to run. He can pass as good as anyone probably out there on the field today. But it's great, isn't it, to be back at Anfield, everybody. And, you know, I overlook here our Anfield Road stand. And what you might not remember, folks, is we opened that stand halfway through last season. So Jurgen always went on, didn't he, about the extra fan power, how much that would generate. Well, it's open for the first time fully at the start of a new season, which is absolutely brilliant, isn't it? And, of course, you know, a lot has been made about our head coach, Arne Slot, his first Premier League game at Anfield. But as the head coach was quick to make out, it's not his first game at Anfield, is it? Because, of course, he had that pre-season friendly against Sevilla the other week. So he's had a taste with his staff, you know, with Sipke Hulshoff, his assistant, and the rest of the staff, Ruben Peters and Johnny Heitinger and Aaron Briggs. They've all had their first experience at Anfield, which I think is a big help. Brentford, of course, are a good team, aren't they? You know, Thomas Frank is a really good coach. He's done a good job in charge of the Bees. But, you know, we're looking forward to this one here today. As always, we're going to be confident, aren't we? We're at Anfield. This is our cathedral. This is where we play. Everybody's buzzing. All the fans are buzzing. I was speaking to ahead of the game. Well, of course, I remember at that big game, of course, we actually played Brentford in the FA Cup back in March 1989 at Anfield. Giving me age away here, I know. I was there as a fan, right behind Sir Kenny's dugout. It was an incredible occasion. We won 4-0. Now, the great man, John Aldridge, Aldo, who's with me for live commentary today, didn't score that day. So a question for our great Scott, Gary Gillespie downstairs. Gary also played in that game. Aldo didn't score. Who got the Liverpool goals?
The look of panic and fear then on Gary's face when he realised.
Steve's put me right on it. I have absolutely no idea.
4 goal scorers. Come on, you can guess.
I can't even remember playing Brentford. Never mind like who scored the goal.
We'll roll in the goals then, just to take you down memory lane.
Right.
A great side. Many a goal scorer in that game. Steve McMahon, John Barnes with one, and a couple for Peter Beardsley as well. Look out for the one from Johnny Barnes in a minute. The one that is the pick of the bunch of the 4. Does it come back into your memory now?
No, not at all, no. What was it, a cup game?
Yes.
I
FA Cup 6 round.
Well, to be honest with you, I mean, Barnsley, he was phenomenal. Like the first 2 years at Liverpool, he was absolutely sensational. You can see there, like getting bodies forward, breaking from midfield. I think that was Jan that made the pass there. And the combination of Beardsley, Barnes, and Aldridge, and like you add little Ray Houghton to that as well. It was a recipe, like obviously for goals and success. It was like fantastic to just stand behind them and watch them. To be quite honest with you,
Aldo must have been screaming at Beardsley to square that. Third goal.
Aldo did have a thing that like Peter and like only passed to John Barnes, and John Barnes only passed to Peter. But like when you look back at it, I don't think that was true, to be honest with you. He benefited a lot from John Barnes' crosses, and none but I think the FA Cup against Forest a couple of times Aldo scored. But it was a fantastic time to be a Liverpool player. It was an awesome side that from 87 right through to like 89, 90. Awesome team to play for.
That was a particularly special kind of team, wasn't it? It was like sort of a confined period, but for that period they were one of the great sides.
Yeah, it was the only thing that was a little bit unfortunate. Obviously, we never got the chance or the opportunity to pit our wits against the top European sides, because we were obviously banned from Europe at that time. But you know, when you watch back in that and you talk about like how games should be played and how football should be played, just watch a couple of clips from like that 87 onwards. A fantastic team to play in, and obviously a lot of joy. Highlighted by the game against Forest here, I think 87, 88 or something, I think it was, wasn't it, when we won 5-0. And it's just an absolute joy to play on that side, as I said.
You notice the difference in the pitch as well, then?
Well, I was going to, how much confidence as a defensive player, knowing you've got those attacking players who can blow teams away?
Well, I made reference going back to like when Jurgen first came in and we had the likes of Sadio Mane, Roberto Firmino and Mohamed Salah. Very, very similar to like when you've got players of that ilk and like players that can change a game and like really make a difference. And the end of the pitch where you want to make a difference. We had the likes of Barnes, Aldridge, and Beardsley, which was very, very similar to like the fact that how like Jurgen wanted to play his game as well. So a lot of the goals were obviously scored by these three. And as I say, it was just a joy to just sit back and watch them. Every game you were going into like full of confidence and like you thought you were invincible, to be quite honest. You didn't even think about losing.
Yeah. And Gary picked up the odd goal himself along the way. Let's not just forget that. A threat from the back, you know. Anyway, that's enough about that then. Let's turn our attention back. As fun as it was. OK, it is time now to leave our viewers on social media. If you are watching this and you aren't yet a subscriber to LFC TV or LFC TV Go, then you can find the details on how to sign up online at liverpoolfc.com/watch. Coming up after the break, we'll bring you more from the boss, as well as an interview with Alison Becker. As mentioned, John Aldridge will be back on the mic alongside Stevie Hunter as well, as they bring you audio commentary of all the game from 4:30. Then, after full time, we are with you until 7:30 for the reaction from today's game. And that show will also be available as a podcast a little later on. Highlights will be available to watch on LFC TV Go at 8:30 before the full match replay is on demand from midnight. And do look out for some exclusive behind-the-scenes footage when Inside Anfield lands on our Facebook and YouTube pages on Tuesday. It is competitive home match number 1 of the Arne Slot era. What lies in store over the coming months and years? Time will tell. It starts with the Reds against Brentford, and kickoff is less than an hour away.